Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
धन्यवाद
Krishna,
प्रणाम.
Prabhuji. Dhanyavad pranam.
Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम जय श्री प्रभुपाद।
Dandavat pranam. Priya Mohini Devi. Hare Krishna. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरम् जयतं सुरतौ पङ्गो मम मन्दामतिर्गतिर् मत्सर्वस्वापदाम्भोजौ राधा मदनमोहनौ दिव्यावृन्दारण्यकल्पाद्रुमादा श्रीमद्रत्नागरसिंहासनस्थो श्रीमद्राधा शीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन् रासरसारम्भी वंशी वटाटटष्टितां कर्षणवेणुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथाश्रीयेष्टुनाम् ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. So we are reading from Isopanishad. Today we will be discussing verse 12 and verse 13. Okay. Demigod worshippers and pseudo religionists. Those who practice, those who think they are spiritualists, they are called pseudo religionists, and those who worship demigods. And what is their destination? Andam tama pravishanti ye sambhutim upashate tato bhuya ivate tamo yau sambhutyam rataha. Andam tama pravishanti. Pravishanti means to enter. Andam tama means in the darkest of ignorance. Who? Yam Ashambhutim upasate. Sambhuti, Sambhutis who are worshippers of the Lord. But here, Asambhuti means those who don't worship the Lord. Asambhuti. Or they refer upasate means those who are demigod worshippers. Asambhuti refer to demigod worshippers. And Sambhutyam here refers to those who improperly worship the Lord, like the Mayavadis or um, pseudo spiritualist. They are called here improperly worshipping the Lord. Mm, Those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the impersonal absolute. Or like Mayavadis, they have demigods, they enter into the demigod worshipper, they enter into darkest region of ignorance. Andam tamaha pravishanti. And tato bhuya ivate tamo. Tam here te tamo means even further ignorance are the worshippers of, or basically the Mayavadis or pseudo religiosionists. Those worship. So basically, demigod worship is better than becoming a Mayavadi, but they both have a very bad destination. Demigod worshippers enters into the darkest region of ignorance, and further low goes down are the Mayavadis and um, pseudo spiritualists. Okay, Asambhuti refers to those who have no independent existence. Uh, when those who worship those who have no independent existence. So who has independent existence? The Lord has independent existence. Everybody else is dependent on him. Everything comes from the Lord. When somebody worship those who comes from him, it may refer to demigods, it may refer to people worship some humans also, people worship ghosts. So there are different kind of people who have different kind of worshippers, and none of them is independently existing, or their dependence is existing on somebody. Like Brahma's existence is dependent upon Narayan. When Narayan breathes in, Brahma goes also. And the devatas, they also are dependent upon 71 yoga cycles, and we living entity based on which yoga we are in, Satyug, Dwapar Yug, Treta Yoga, we are dependent upon time. Krishna says, time, I am time, who has come to destroy everything. So there is nobody other than the Supreme Lord himself who can independently exist. And anybody who cannot exist independently, who is timed by somebody else, those who worship them, they enter into the darkest region of ignorance. And why it's called darkest region of ignorance? Because this, in other words, they remain in the material world. Material world, we will go in detail, but here is a summary. Material world is pitch dark. It's um, um, like coconut shell, and inside coconut shell, it's pitch dark. So that's why there is a need of sun and moon. So likewise, this universe is covered by earth, water, fire, air, ether, and then my intelligence falls equal and very, very thick layer. So it's pitch dark inside. So this is called, and everything in this material world is full of ignorance. We see when Brahma started creation, the first thing he created is tamaha, mahatamaha, andha, andhatamishra. He created all this ignorance. So there is everything in this material world is darkest region of ignorance. Um, or they go to either, whether they go to ghosts or whether they go to demigods, higher planet, lower planet, all these planets are in the darkest region, because the universe, inside the universe, is the darkest region. And still further down, or the worse they can do is by worshipping, like thinking I am God, or um, practicing some form of spirituality, and not only misguiding themselves but misguiding many others also. So they get, um, like when somebody accept disciples, they get all their karma also, and then they themselves are not situated uh, in Shuddha Sattva, or not directly connected to the Lord, so they cannot burn, and their destination is way, way bad. they carry the burden of all other living entities, and they get the bad karma of misguiding all the living entities. Because it is said now, one should not become a guru or father or mother or other things unless one can deliver the dependent and send them back to Krishna. But these pseudo-religious religiosionists, they have no idea about who is the independent Supreme Lord. Their worship is also like, concocted, and they misguide all the other people also. So one is, in general, Asambhuti may refer to demigod worshippers, but it can also, in a broader sense, mean any other worshipper other than Krishna. So Asambhuti refers to those who have no independent existence, and Sambhuti is the absolute personality of Godhead who is independent of everything. Sambhuti may also refer to pure Krishna, um, pure devotional service. That's also Sambhuti. And that real Sambhuti, pseudo Sambhuti, pseudo religiosionist, the destination is um, 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 further lower region of ignorance, and um, pure religiosionist or pure devotees, their destination is very good, and that is the subject matter of next verse. So misunderstanding the absolute truth as impersonal, pseudo-religiosionist. This is something Krishna says in 10th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. So here Krishna himself declares that he is the source of demigods and sages. And Krishna says, neither demigods nor the sages know that I am their source. And this also means, based on this verse, it also means that demigods and sages cannot exist without Krishna, because Krishna is their source. So they have no independent existence in that way. Thus, Krishna is the origin of the powers delegated to demigods, great sages, and mystics. And another way they are not independent is because Krishna says, whatever benefits the demigods or the great sages or mystics, whatever benefits they can give is coming from Krishna. If Brahma or Shiva or anybody can give any blessing, Krishna fulfills. Any sages like Narad Muni curses or gives the blessings. That also, blessing also comes, that also Krishna fulfills. Um, so whatever powers these great sages or mystics or demigods, everything is coming from Krishna. Hmm. But most of the sages also don't know. Of course, Narad Muni is a pure devotee of the Lord and fully dependent on Krishna. But other sages' powers also have, like Durvasa Muni has these powers. He can give curses and he can create these fiery demons. And um, mm, there are mystics like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, they were mystics. They also have their powers. So none of them is independent. Everyone is, the source is Krishna only. So those who worship them who are not independent, not good. Uh, but worship of Krishna includes worship of pure devotees, like worshipping Narad Muni, our spiritual master. So that is within the realm of Krishna only. When we say Krishna, that includes all his paraphernalia or residents of Vrindavan or all incarnations. Those are okay. Then many philosophers and great rishis or mystics try to distinguish the absolute from the relative by their tiny brain power. So there are many philosophers, rishis, and mystics, and um, they see that everything in this world is relative. Okay, demigods are also temporary. They also have limited life. Brahma also has a limited life. So the universe itself has a limited life. So then they try to question, okay, then what is the actual source? So they try to distinguish the absolute from the relative, because everything in this universe is relative truth. Relative truth means um, that ends with time, that has a birth and that has an end. That is relative truth. So when the many philosophers, great rishis and mystics, when they see everything in the universe, and then they try to distinguish, okay, then who is the source of everything. They try to distinguish the absolute from the relative by their tiny brain power. This can only help them reach the negative conception of the absolute without realizing any positive trace of the absolute. Definition of the absolute by negation is not complete. And then they may think, yeah, this universe and Brahma and Shiva also goes away, and um, mm, everything here is temporary and has a life, and the whole universe is destroyed. When the whole universe is destroyed, what remains? So there must be, and then they try to understand the absolute based on negating what they see, and they remove everything what they see, and they think that, oh, the supreme must be impersonal. So they're trying to find the supreme by negating all that they see, not as absolute, and then they come to a conclusion. So what Prabhupada is saying, by in this way you cannot understand Krishna. We also saw one of the verses in the past that says one cannot understand Krishna by one's mind. Even one travels with the speed of mind, one cannot reach Krishna. So their conclusion is wrong, or it's not complete. Those who are running after other planets are certainly persons, and if the Lord can run faster than all of them, how can he be impersonal? So here Prabhupada is making a comment saying that, like, these pseudo-religiosionists or philosophers or mystics or great rishis, not the pure devotees, but these great rishis, they think Krishna is impersonal, or um, like Mayavadis. So Prabhupada is saying that Isopanishad says that the Lord can run faster than the fastest. Those who are running after other planets are certainly persons. There are many people, they try to go to like the demigods. They can come to Earth planet anytime they want. There is also, like, when Krishna was performing his pastimes in Vrindavan, then demigods will come from the heavenly planets in the air to see. So they can go to any planets. Brahma can come here to give blessings to um, his devotees like Hiranyakashipu. So they can run very fast. They can go from one place to another. But the earth went from here to Brahmalok, and all the devatas, they went to Vishnu. So people can, they're all living entities. So they can go here and there. So those who are running after other planets are certainly persons. They are people, so they can go anywhere. And Ishopanishad says, if the Lord can run faster than all of them, then how can he does not have a form? If he is all pervading, then what's the need for running if he's everywhere? But it says that the Lord can run faster than the fastest. Um, so must be a person. So proper argument on that. The demigods and sages consider the Supreme Lord to be a powerful demigod, and they consider the Brahman effulgence to be the absolute truth. And some of the demigods, they don't understand when Krishna comes, and sages. And when Krishna comes, they think he's a great demigod. Even Cupid wanted to entice Krishna by his charm. Brahma wanted to test Krishna. So they don't realize him as a supreme personality of Godhead. And they think, or Duryodhana thought Krishna is some great mystic. So demigods and sages, even not all of them, some knows, like later on at least, like Brahma realized who Krishna is. Kamdev realized, Indra realized who Krishna is. But most demigods and sages consider Supreme Lord to be a powerful demigod, a very powerful being. But they consider the Brahman effulgence to be the absolute truth. Even many demigods are not realized. This is what Prabhupada is saying. So this is those who are Sambhuti, worshipper of Sambhuti, or worshipper of Sambhuti here refers to improper worship of the Lord, or pseudo-religiosionist. So Prabhupada is telling who are all those people. It can be demigods, it can be philosophers, can be rishis, can be mystics. They all are some sort of worshippers, but they remain in the darkest region of this material existence only. Now, how demigod worshippers enter into the darkest region of ignorance? One can reach higher planets by spaceships, like some people said by their spaceship. Of course, Prabhupada said never went to moon, but Prabhupada says they may have gone to Mars. Prabhupada says so they can still go to another planet. Some people are trying. So through spaceships also there is some possibility. And Prabhupada says why they never went to moon, because they said they landed moon in 3 days. And Prabhupada says that is not possible. Prabhupada says moon is farther than sun, and moon like this many million miles, and to reach there in 72 hours, which is 3 days, 72 hours, they have to fly, because the distance is mentioned between Earth and Moon. They have to fly like few 100,000 miles per hour, and Prabhupada said that is not practical. So if they would have said that, okay, they took probably 3 years to go to the moon, is different thing. They said they reached the moon in 3 days. Prabhupada said no, that is bogus. That is not possible. But Prabhupada said they may have gone to the Mars. So there is a possibility through spaceship one can go to other planets. Through mystical powers they can go. We see these mystic yogis, and they were from Janalok, Mahalok, Tapalok, and with the help of Mother Ganges, they come to Maharaj Parikshit to hear Shrimad Bhagavatam of Sukadev Goswami. They also went, Bhagavatam says, to Patal Lok to hear Bhagavatam from Sankarshan. So through mystic powers, they can reach to different planets. And demigod worship is the most common way. And like spaceships are not practical in this day and age. Also, we see these demigods, they have their own spaceships. They can go to demigods, they are coming to see Krishna's pastimes in their spaceships. Um, um, so they have their own spaceships also, which are, uh, Ravana had a Viman that he stole from Kuber that can go anywhere, anytime he likes. They have their spaceships also. So through spaceships, mystic powers, people can go, but that is not practical. But people can go to other planets by demigod worship. Um, but all planets in the material world are temporary places of repeated birth. Um, the material universe is dark, being covered by the gigantic material elements. So the sun and moon are required for illumination. Example is the universe is just like a coconut covered by an airtight shell and half filled with water. It's like coconut, na? Many times it is half filled with water. So universe is just like that. It's like complete dark shell half covered with water. That is a universe. Airtight shell. Nothing can come inside. That's why sun and moon are required. Since the material universe is impermanent, whatever is achieved within its darkness is also impermanent. Everything is impermanent. The whole universe comes, stays for some time, destroyed, comes, destroyed, comes, destroyed, comes, destroyed, comes, destroyed. And in between, you worship some demigods or some ghost or whatever. You go to their planets, and no matter, you may have a little bit bigger life, but the whole universe is existing and destroyed. They come into existence, destroyed, come into existence, destroyed. So everything is impermanent. Since the whole material universe is impermanent, whatever is achieved within its darkness is everything is impermanent. Everything goes up and down with the universe. Therefore, one shouldn't bother by any destination within this dark material universe, but one should try to get out of it and reach the effulgent kingdom of God. Then why stay in this universe? Everything is impermanent, come and go, come and go, come and go. There are no such things. Mad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Mad gatva na nivartante. One who goes there never returns back. Tad dhama paramam mama. That is my abode. Tattva deham puna janma naiti mameti so Arjuna. One who remembers my activities and pastimes. One who understands my janma karma cha me divya. One who knows my activities and my appearance is transcendental. After leaving this body, does not return to this material world, but goes back and never returns again. And same thing in uh, 8th chapter, attaining the Supreme, Krishna says. In this material universe, cycle of birth and death, but having gone there, one never returns. So many places Krishna says that go to that destination, because if we do anything that take us to different destination in this material world, up or down, it's going to be temporary. With the universe, the whole universe is destroyed, everything is destroyed. So one should not bother with any destination. From demigod worshippers to Krishna worshippers, instead of seeking sense gratification and temporary results and relief from difficulties by demigod worship, that's what people worship demigods for. Krishna says either some sense gratification, some desires, worship a particular devata for those temporary results whatever they get, they do give the results, but they are temporary by nature. Some relief from difficulty, some problems. One must worship, instead of seeking all these things from demigods, one must worship all attractive Krishna, who can completely free us from material bondage by taking us back to Godhead. When the jivas are fully relieved from the material bondage of repeated birth and death by performing Krishna Bhakti, they can attain an eternal life of bliss and knowledge on a spiritual plane. It's full of bliss and knowledge. Full of knowledge, this material world is full of ignorance. No? Why full of ignorance? My name is Shamananda, and this is my relation to this particular person, this particular person, this particular person, and this is my role. This is full of ignorance. Our whole identity is ignorance. But there, our identity is knowledge, because there, whoever I am and whatever my relationship is with Krishna, and how old I am, everything there is eternal and real. That's why we are full of knowledge there. And this material world, we are full of ignorance, like false identities. And that too is changing constantly in 8.4 million species. And no matter where we are, it's destroyed and again birth and destroyed again birth. So it is full of ignorance, darkest region of ignorance. But those who perform Krishna Bhakti, they can attain an eternal life of bliss and knowledge on a spiritual plane. But of course, we hear Ramapad Maharaj is here, and he was mentioning, which you all have heard also. Back to Godhead is not just a physical thing, which is a physical thing also. Like we saw the video of Gopal Krishna Maharaj went to join Krishna's pastimes eternally. That is physical back to Godhead. But back to Godhead can be in consciousness. Like Maharaj was already back to Godhead when he was here. So back to Godhead does not necessarily means leaving this place, but it's like you live a life full of knowledge, like these pure devotees, like all these spiritual Prabhupada disciples. You live a life full of knowledge and bliss, even when you are here. But that requires they have done a lot of sadhana and a lot of tapa and a lot of sincerity to be able to attain that stage where they are now. Outside the universe is the vast and unlimited Brahma Jyoti, filled with Vaikuntha Lokas, the only permanent planets. There is no rebirth there. This is from 8th chapter. Of them, the biggest and the highest planet is Krishna Lok or Golok Vrindavan, where Lord Krishna himself resides. So above this material universe, not one but many, there is Brahma Jyoti, means then there is a divine light. We see Arjun, Krishna was taking Arjuna, and when they were crossing this universe, pitch dark, Krishna invoked the Sudarshan Chakra. Everything is visible. Then when they crossed over the universe, then it was a bright light. And Arjuna says, Krishna, what is this? And Krishna says, this is my effulgence. And when they cross that, we will see the verse next week, next to next verse, that says, please remove this covering, Krishna, so that I can see your lotus face. So you have it's glaring effulgence and you cannot see beyond. But when you cross that, then you see Vaikuntha Lokas. And when you enter there, then you see the Lord, the beautiful face of the Lord also. So go there. So this is the last slide for this verse. Who are the pseudo religionists? Seek fame under the garb of worshipping God. I'm pastor of this and this and this, and they seek some fame. They are YouTube fames of many so-called gurus who are not in ISKCON. Of course, ISKCON is very bona fide. But other so-called this Baba and that Baba, they seek fame under the garb of worshipping God. don't wish to reach the spiritual sky. Ask them who is God. They don't know who God is. And once those who don't know who God is, how can they reach the Vaikuntha planets? Don't wish to reach the spiritual sky. Led by the atheists and impersonalists, or so-called incarnations of God, into the darkest regions. Um, they follow somebody else. These false pseudo-religiosionists, they follow some other Mayavadis or atheists, and they all go to the darkest regions of the universe, and their followers also go there. They have no knowledge or detachment. We see Bhagavatam says knowledge and detachment is the effect of bhakti. When we perform devotional service, renunciation will come and knowledge will come. Real knowledge is like, our eternal identity. Everything is coming from bhakti. So they have no understanding of who they really are. And they're very much attached, and that's why they're looking for all these things from their followers, or for fame or for wealth or whatever they need. So they have no knowledge or detachment on which the path of salvation from material clutches depends. People are trying to go from misery to happiness, or people are trying to go from material misery to material happiness. But then there is the journey of material happiness to spiritual happiness. And to spiritual happiness requires renunciation. And people who don't have that renunciation will not be able to access their spiritual happiness. So these pseudo-religiosionists, they live in the golden shackles of material bondage. Why golden shackles? Because they have a lot of material backup with them, comforts, dhanam, janam, sundaram, whatever it is. So they live in the golden shackles of material bondage under the shadow of philanthropic acts disguised as dharma. Do a lot of good work, help a lot of people, give comfort and solace to a lot of people, good, pious people, but it's not the real dharma. Present a show of bhakti while indulging in all sort of immoral activities and violating dharma. And I mean, naturally, nature of this Kali Yuga is hypocrisy. So outside they show themselves, and inside they have their own habits. Many gurus were exposed like that. So they indulge in all sort of immoral activities and violate dharma, but they present a show of bhakti. They're all pseudo-religiosionists, and their destination is much worse than the demigod worshippers also. They have no respect for the authoritative acharyas. They pass as gurus, devotees, or so-called acharyas. Their followers call them as gurus or acharyas, but it's all bogus. They are most dangerous elements in human society because everyone wants to connect with the Lord. They are most dangerous elements because when they become the leaders and they have thousands of followers, all thousands along with the guru enter into darkest region of the universe, even below, much worse destination for all of them. So that's why they are most dangerous elements. I mean, you leave people where they are, then they will at least search for a true path. But if you misguide people, then they feel that we have got the true path, and that goes to darkest regions. So that's why they are most dangerous elements in human society. They may escape punishment by the law of the state, but not the law of the supreme. That such people shall be thrown into the darkest regions of hell. Krishna says in 16th chapter. The the word may glorify them, the followers may glorify them, but once they leave their body, they're thrown into either hell or another body, and everything is lost. So they remain within this material universe. So basically, there is asambhuti. Asambhuti means worshippers of those who are not sambhuti. Sambhuti means who is independent. Uh, so worshipper of those who they worship those who are not independent, whether they're demigods or anybody else. And there are some bhutis who worship their understanding of religion, but they are pseudo, and they go into further darker region. And we will do one more. Anyad eva hu sambhavad अन्यदाहुरसम्भवान् इति शुश्रुमधीराणां येनस्तद्विचक्षिरे. It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and that another result is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. All this is heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it. So, if you want to actually do sambhuti or worship of the Lord, then you have to understand that from acharyas, authorities. Dhirana iti shushruma. Shushru means hear. Shuddhadhanasya Vasudevi Katharuchi. Iti Shushruma Dhiranam. Dhiranam means those who are dhira, or those who are pure devotees of the Lord, self-realized. Those who are mind and intelligence is stable and fixed on the Lord, they are called dhira. Krishna says, how can there be peace if they are not connected to me? Correct. Na? Second chapter Krishna says, so perfect dhira are who are completely fixed on the Lord, like all these pure devotees. So those who hear from Shushruma Dhiranam, those who hear from these dhiras, one result is obtained, which is a higher destination, which is Vaikuntha planets. So one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes. And supreme cause of all causes is Krishna. Sarva Karana Karana. Name is not mentioned, but it is mentioned that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and another result is obtained by worshipping that what is not supreme. And what is not supreme may be the demigods and other path. So two worshippers who are not real worshipper, demigod worshipper and pseudo-religiosionists, and then those who are real worshippers are those who follow the bona fide acharyas. They hear from dhiras, and then they get a clear understanding. In other words, like last verse, it is described, cannot get an understanding of the absolute truth by negation. Okay, the demigods and Brahma is temporary and the universe is temporary, so who is God? And then if you don't approach that knowledge through Shushruma Dhiranam, hearing from Dhiras, and just negate, not this, this is all temporary, relative, then you cannot understand who is the Supreme, who is God, who is Sarva Karana Karana. So they are pseudo religionists because they have no idea and they make up their understanding of. So they speak very nicely. The body is temporary, this all is temporary, and everything is lost. They speak very nicely. They have some knowledge in it, but their understanding of God is not perfect. And that's why they are misguided, because they don't have clear understanding and they have many followers. Everybody is misguided and their destination is also within the universe. Krishna clearly says, unless one worship uh, with all one's heart, mind, and intelligence fixed on me, how can one go back? So these are so many pseudo-religionists and other demigod worshipper, and darkest region for the darkest region. And those who hear from dhiras and they practice as per the acharyas, wonderful result is obtained. So Sambhuta is the Supreme Lord, who is the source of birth and sustenance. Everything comes from him. He maintains, he creates, and he destroys. Janmadi asayataha. Janma, Janma, Adi. Janma Adi means creation, maintenance, and destruction. Adi means remaining. Janma is creation. Adi means creation and the remaining, which is maintenance and destruction. Asayata comes from the Supreme Lord. He is Abhigya. Janmadi asayataha itiritas chatheshu Abhigya Swarat. Abhigya means fully. He is aware of everything. Ithiritas chatheshu Abhigya Swarat. Knowingly or directly or indirectly, he is fully cognizant. And Swarat means he is completely independent. Begins with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, who is the source of creation, maintenance, and destruction. He is fully cognizant, directly or indirectly, and he is completely independent. And his abode is free from the illusory energy. Satyam Paramadimahi. I offer my obeisances to that supreme absolute truth. Beginning first verse of Bhagavatam. So is Abhigya fully cognizant, fully conscious of past, present, future. Krishna says, I know past, present, future, but me no one knows. And no one, including the demigods, knows him fully. He is Lord Krishna, who is Bhagavate Vasudevaya, the supreme cause of all causes. In 7th chapter also Krishna says, intelligent people worship me as the cause of all causes. So there's some bhuta, those who hear from authorized sources, like properly hear from Bhagavad Gita, properly hear from the true perceptors of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and then follow, then wonderful result is obtained. Not you negate this is not, and then you come up with a concocted spirituality, and then you become spiritual and you call yourself Sambhuti as gurus or as followers, and then you and your disciples, everybody will go to hell, Prabhupada says, darkest region of ignorance. So Prabhupada says all paths do not lead to the same goal. Worshippers of the forefathers attain Pitralok. Materialists materialist remain in this world with their plans. Devotees of Krishna go to Vrindavan, and demigod worshippers reach the demigod planets. Foolish theories are offered by self-made gurus who have no connection with Paramatma. They say all paths are the same. You go to Hindu temples and they say, like, the Hindu temple, they were doing something. So I thought this is not right. So I called them and I said, we have this complaint against you. I called the president of Hindu temple. And then he says, yeah, but our principle is all gods are same. All right. So that's what the principle they live by. You worship demigod, or you worship um, this guru or this Baba, or you worship Krishna. It's all the same, and everybody is the same destination. You choose your God, and he is your God, and he is the God. These are all bogus things. So these are foolish theories offered by self-made gurus. And why they want? They said because if we discriminate, then many people won't come to us. So we are not here to sell cheap jewelries. We are here to sell diamonds. Who really want to know actually what is what and are interested in spiritual life, real people. So foolish theories are offered by self-made gurus who have no connection with the parampara. They say all paths are same. Only those who are cleansed of all sinful reactions can have unflinching faith in Krishna. And Krishna himself says, no, most of people won't come to me, Krishna says. That's why Krishna says, better do worship demigods then. And Krishna says, Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam vrata. Krishna says, those whose sinful reactions are over by many lifetimes of good karma, those who have become free from sins, te dvanda moha nirmukta, they become free from duality and illusion. Our duality and our attachments is the result of our past sins. That's why we are bound by duality and illusion. But this is sinful reactions that we are going through. But those who have become pure, sinless, how they become sinless? By Jananam Punya Karmanam. It is said that this is Bhakti Punya, Bhakton Mukha Sukriti. That is Jananam Punya Karmanam. Birth after birth, those who are practicing devotional service. Bhakton Mukha Sukriti. Bhakton Mukha Sukriti means they are doing activities that are centered around bhakti. And by doing this for many, many lifetimes, they have become free from sins. And when they become free from sins, to the extent they are becoming free from sins, they develop faith in Krishna. So Prabhupada says, only those who are cleansed of all sinful reactions can have unflinching faith. Those who are sinful, their faith will be mixed. And this process of surrender to Krishna makes us sinless. So only those who are cleansed of all sinful reactions can have unflinching faith in Krishna. So not everybody. Others will be like, have faith in all the demigods and have same faith in. Why? Because they have no faith in Krishna, so they have faith in all these things. Krishna also says there is transcendental faith, there is faith in mode of goodness, which is faith in demigods. Then there is faith in mode of passion, which is faith in humans, like temples of Rajnikant and Amitabh Bachchan. So there is faith in mode of passion, and or some heroes who are material heroes. And then faith in mode of ignorance, they have faith in ghosts and other, and that's why they worship with faith. Or black magic, they have faith in all these things. So Krishna's faith is also in three modes, but they are all sinful people. That's why they have all these faiths. But how much sin defines what you have faith in. But those who are free from sins, they will have unflinching faith in Supreme Lord Krishna. Others will be all pseudo-religiosionists, and their destination is very dark. So unless they hear from an acharya in the parampara, one cannot have the real key to spiritual knowledge. Shushrama Dhiranam, should hear from Dhiras, self-realized souls. An acharya, who is an acharya? So basically hear from Dhiras. Prabhupada said Dhira is an acharya who comes in parampara. They have a real key of how to access who is God and how to access God and how to go to him, or how to become Krishnaized. So Prabhupada says, who is an acharya? Prabhupada says acharya is one who is never disturbed by material changes. Ups and downs, highs and lows will come. But is our mind stable in those situations, or do we become disturbed? So those who are never disturbed, they are dhiras by material changes. They have heard the Vedic knowledge from a previous acharya, but they themselves should come in parampara, and they never present anything not mentioned in the scriptures. They should speak the words of scriptures. They should not only that they know scriptures, but they themselves should have a guru or a parampara. They should have a guru parampara that they should be connected. And from the guru parampara, they should have heard the scriptures, and they should follow the scriptures, and they should have perfected the teachings and have become dhiras by themselves, have become self-realized by themselves. Guru, Shastra, and heard the Shastra from Guru, practiced it, perfected it, and have become self-realized. And now not disturbed by any ups and downs and completely fixed on the Lord. He is an acharya. When you hear from him, he will give you direction of how to become like him or how to attain perfection. So then the result is wonderful. But anybody else, then that person remains in the darkest region of this universe. When the bhakti principles become distorted, Krishna, and when there are no such acharyas, no Shastra, no acharyas of Shastra, no dhiras. This is like when now adharma arises. When the bhakti principles become distorted, Krishna re-established them by teaching his confidential friend and devotee Arjuna. And Krishna also says, Krishna says this teaching of Bhagavad Gita is confidential. Everybody will not understand it. Krishna says, please, Krishna says, my request to all of you, Krishna says, don't teach this message of Bhagavad Gita to those who don't have faith. Don't preach to the faithless. Otherwise it becomes an offense. Naturally, we don't discuss the deeper topics because they will accept what you say with a pinch of salt and they won't have faith. And and they become disturbed by hearing the pure teachings, and that will affect us negatively. So Krishna is also not willing to give the confidential knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to everyone. He says, Arjuna, you are my devotee, so I'm telling you the truth. And you are a friend of me. So that is the required qualification. Others speaks rubbish in the name of Gita. But those who are not devotee of the Lord never hear Bhagavad Gita from them. Take a shoes and beat it on their head if they speak Bhagavad Gita, because all they speak is rubbish. Others speak rubbish in the name of Gita. Gita for business, Gita for politics, Gita for this and that. It's all rubbish. So we should hear Gita from a pure devotee of Krishna, like Srila Prabhupada. Then the pure teachings will come. And when we hear from bona fide acharyas, the Shastra, and that's why Krishna came and spoke to re-establish dharma. Yeah. Okay. And Krishna is the supreme cause, Sambhavat. Everything Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti mata bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Everything in the material and spiritual world emanate from Krishna, including Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Aham sarvasya prabhavo, matta sarvam pravartate. Aham sarvasya prabhavo means everything comes from me. I am the source of everything. And matta sarva pravartate means everything comes from me. I am the source of everything and everything comes from me. Gopal Maharaj yesterday was mentioning like checkmate. Everything comes from me and I create all those things. It's like reverse. Like uh, um, this child comes from me. This child, he comes from me, and I gave birth to this child. So both ways it's covered. So aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. So from two directions, Krishna says, all those things, they come from me. I give birth to all those things. Checkmate, Mara says. So Krishna says, so there is nothing beyond me, including Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Krishna existed before Brahma's birth and enlightened Brahma with Vedic knowledge. This from Gopal Tapani Upanishad. And if you read the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, yesterday Maharaj was mentioning in Grand Rapid, Chatushloki Bhagavatam, the first verse, Chatushloki Bhagavatam, Narayan told Brahma, I existed before this creation. During this creation, I only exist because everything that is there is my energy. And after everything is destroyed, I remain to exist. Past, present, future, I am there. And those who see anything that is existing not in relationship to me, you should know is the effect of illusory energy. There's the second verse of Chatushloki Bhagavatam. And then third verse of Chatushloki Bhagavatam says, and one should see me inside and outside of everything because I am all pervading. That's a vision of purity, but that is rahasya. That um, that a pure devotee sees Krishna everywhere, inside and outside. And you should practice the do's and don'ts of bhakti till you attain this realization of seeing Krishna everywhere. That is a path of sadhana bhakti. That is the fourth verse of Chatushloki Bhagavatam. This is the essential teachings Lord Narayan gave to Brahma. I existed before, now also I exist because we are part and parcel of Krishna, earth, water, fire, air. Ether is the energy of Krishna. My intelligence, false ego. We the living entities and all the elements, everything come from Krishna. So Krishna energy is non-different. So before you, I existed. With the creation, I only remain to exist, and after everything is destroyed, I still remain, O Brahma. So very clear sambandha that I am the source of everything. And that is the first verse of Bhagavatam, and the first verse of Bhagavad Gita is Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. They are exactly the same, just spoken in different ways. Same thing. Everything comes from me, and those who know me, they worship me with love and devotion. So here in Gopal Tapani Upanishad also says Krishna existed before Brahma's birth and enlightened Brahma with Vedic knowledge. And that's what Bhagavatam also says. So some people, some foolish people, those who don't have, they say, no, Bhagavatam is Smriti. We accept only Upanishads. Then, okay, here is Upanishad, Gopal Tapani Upanishad. That says Krishna existed before Brahma birth and enlightened Brahma with Vedic knowledge. You want to hear from Shruti, you want to hear from Smriti. The golden rule is the same. Krishna is source of everything. This is from Narayan Upanishad. Nobody can question these. Gopal Tapani Upanishad, Narayan Upanishad. Narayan Upanishad, Krishna. Narayan existed when nothing existed. He created all beings, including Brahma, Prajapatis, Indra, 8 Vashus, 11 Rudras, and 12 Adityas. And Krishna says in simple in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, we saw Bhagavad Gita as Gita Upanishad because it is also Upanishad because spoken by the Lord. It is not remembered, but is directly spoken by the Lord. This is called Gita Upanishad. It's king of all the Upanishads. And there Krishna says, all the demigods and sages come from me. We just saw that today. Devaki's son Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Narayana Upanishad explains. Shankaracharya also accepted that Lord Narayan is the supreme cause. He told to his mother, Krishna says, I created the Prajapatis and the Rudras. They don't fully know me due to Maya. There's also Krishna expressed in Bhagavad Gita. Govinda Krishna, Brahma Samhita. Govinda Krishna is the delighter of every living being and the primeval cause of all causes. If everybody becomes happy, it's because of Krishna. Krishna is the delighter of all living beings. If you're not happy because we don't have Krishna's mercy, and if you're happy because we have Krishna's mercy. So Krishna is the delighter of every living being and the primeval cause of all causes. Anything good happens in our life, Krishna sanctioned it. Anything bad happens in our life, Krishna sanctioned it. We are going through a very high phase, Krishna sanctioned it. We are going through a low phase, Krishna sanctioned it. Krishna is the cause of all causes. But through all these things, Krishna is testing our consciousness. Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna took everything from me and tested me. So, my dear Srila Prabhupada, what's your consciousness? And Krishna gave him everything. Prabhupada said, Krishna tested me. And then Prabhupada said, by Krishna's mercy, I passed both the test. Prabhupada was completely Krishna conscious, whether he was the most successful person on the planet or he was like completely unsuccessful, materially or spiritually, in terms of results in preaching or in terms of business. So Krishna took everything away and Krishna tested me. Krishna gave everything and Krishna tested me. So Krishna is the cause of all causes. In all the phases we go through, Krishna is the cause of everything. And then Krishna will like, so my dear Prabhujis and Matajis, what's your consciousness in this phase? Only those who have lost their sense worship the demigods for paltry rewards. Krishna says, less intelligent people, those who have lost their intelligence. जिनकी बुद्धि बहुत कम है, बेवकूफ लोग, foolish people, they worship the demigods for some small temporary benefits. One must give up all other ways of worship and surrender to me. Sarva dharma parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. The conviction that Krishna is the all in all is established when one hears from the acharyas with faith and love. And how do we get to this conviction that Krishna is everything? And Prabhupada says one has to hear from the right source, from the acharyas. That's what this verse is. This verse says how to get the knowledge and what is the effect of getting the knowledge and what is the result of getting the knowledge. How to get the knowledge is hear from acharyas. Who are the acharyas? Are those who have a Guru Parampara. They speak only what Shastra says that they have understood in Guru Parampara and they have applied and perfected and become Dhiras themselves. And when you hear from them, what is the effect? The effect is you will develop faith that Krishna is the cause of everything and that all path does not lead to the same thing. And when you practice, then you go to the supreme Vaikuntha planet, which is Goloka Vrindavan, and you never come back. And it is and there you are full of bliss and knowledge. You are in your real identity eternally with a relationship of love and service. And that bhakti path that you follow, that itself will bring knowledge and renunciation while we are in this body. And that renunciation will help us gain deeper access to bhakti. So this all thing is opened up. So the conviction that Krishna is the all in all is established when one hears from the acharyas with faith and love. Such learned people, Buddha Bhava, Buddha means experienced or learned. Such learned people, Buddha Bhava, Samanvita, with all their heart and with all their heart means Bhav. Samanvita, they worship me. Such learned people take evidence from sages and the Vedas and worship only Krishna. For example, Arjuna was in the material whirlpool of family affection, in ignorance. Externally, being an eternal pure devotee of the Lord, like Nara Narayan, they are eternally together. But by Krishna's own sweet free will yogamaya potency, Arjuna was put into ignorance. And he was in this material whirlpool of family affection. How can I kill? I will go to hell. What about compassion? What about the enjoyment will be tainted with blood? I'm not able to decide what to do. So Arjuna was in the material whirlpool of family affection, but after hearing from Krishna, he worshipped Krishna. Let's see how Arjuna developed faith in Krishna. And he became self-realized and started worshipping Krishna in the right manner. Likewise, we are also in this whirlpool of material attachments, material identifications, material desires. And when we hear from the bona fide source, the acharyas, the dhiras, then the result will be we will become more and more fixed in worshipping Krishna. That's what this verse of Isopanishad says. Now, actually, from here, we are going to more spiritual direction. Previously, it was what are the wrong things and what not to do, and now Isopanishad taking a turn and guiding people. That's why I see there are only 19 verses, but at the end we may summarize them. But if you see the flow, it will go more deeper now. The next verse actually we won't cover it today. It's like Krishna, I want to see you, and then more bhakti comes. Krishna, please don't remember. Please remember what I have done to you. Don't remember anything else or where I lagged. So there is like that mode of devotion grows there. Faithless people are mooras, fools, and asses who deride Krishna. Knowing Krishna by hearing about him, so-called spiritual leaders who are disturbed by the tides of material existence cannot know Krishna. They worship the imperfect mass of humanity by serving the body instead of the soul. It is like watering the leaves of the tree instead of the root. They are trying to serve the humanity. The humanity is imperfect. Mass of humanity, they are trying to change the life and help so many people, and you are trying to better the life of so many people. But if you are not a devotee of Krishna and you are not putting your investment in your relationship with Krishna, but you are trying to worship or serve the mass of humanity, it's like watering the leaves of the tree instead of the root. And that will never satisfy us. They are called so-called spiritual leader, because who is a spiritual leader? Like Prabhupada says, that's Guru, na? Prabhupada says, who is a Guru? Prabhupada says, a Guru is one who is a pure devotee of Krishna, who is addicted to Krishna, who has love for Krishna. But others don't know Krishna. They are themselves disturbed by all these material waves, and they are trying to serve the mass society, human society. They serve the humanity by medical aid, social help, etc., while slaughtering poor animals. And they have the other side also. As long as somebody is in Kali Yuga and not Krishna conscious, hypocrisy will be there. There will be an angle, which is not very good angle. And we all have those angles ourselves also. Real service to humanity is to teach surrender to and worship of Lord Krishna. That is real service to humanity. Today we are discussing the real mercy is to preach Sankirtan Yagya. That's the real service to humanity, is to teach surrender to and worship of Lord Krishna with full love and energy. The Lord comes personally to teach this philosophy of surrender onto the Supreme, the Sambhuta. That's what Mahaprabhu came to teach. That's what Krishna came to teach. Aham Sarva Dharma Parityag. That's what Mahaprabhu came to teach. Is just take the name of Hari. That is a real service to humanity. The simple way to worship Krishna is to hear and chant about his incredible pastimes from Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. Thus, one's mind will gradually be cleansed of all contamination. If you hear and chant Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, hear Bhagavad Gita, speak Bhagavad Gita, hear Bhagavatam, speak on Bhagavatam, then gradually the mind will be cleansed of all contamination. Yesterday, one devotee asked Maharaj, so what are the few things that you can mention that make you become very fixed in Krishna? And Maharaj says, few things that make me become fixed in Krishna. Maharaj says, the first is Bhagavatam. By reading Bhagavatam for so many years, something entered inside. And now I'm carrying Bhagavatam within my heart. So Maharaj said, first is Bhagavatam. Then Maharaj says, then the holy name. And Maharaj says, then the heroes or my teachers. And then good association of the friends who help me keep going. So these are the four things that result in me becoming attached to Krishna. She's a young lady and new to Krishna consciousness. So she asked this question. So one's mind will gradually be cleansed of all contamination if one hear and chant. And then Maharaj says patience. Keep doing sadhana. Keep doing, keep doing, keep doing. So what we know and what we are doing, we just have to keep doing the same thing. But if we are not in association, then we may slip off, or we may become less sincere. Or we may develop ulterior motives, like sometime bhakti and sometimes something for myself. And the goal becomes again materially motivated. Oh, I need a stable life and I need all my children and my job security and this and this. And we become more focused on our existence in this world and making our existence in this world and our dependent existence in this world as comfortable than the service of Krishna. And our whole life goes in those only, and service to Krishna goes into background, or 1 or 2 hours in a week here and there. And that becomes the goal is changed to most of the energy goes in maintenance and making ourselves comfortable and others comfortable than serving Krishna directly. And the goal may vary if we are not in good association. Our attention will go more towards maintenance in this world. अरे भगवान बोल रहे हैं मैं मेंटेनर हूँ. दो ऑप्शन है, या तो आप अपने मेंटेनेंस का भार अपने आप लो. इधर यू टेक द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ योर मेंटेनेंस, देन योर लाइफ विल गो ऑन योर मेंटेनेंस. Or you worship Krishna and let Krishna take care of your maintenance, and Krishna will take care of your maintenance. Krishna will maintain you anyways. But many times we take the load of all our maintenance too much to maintain. Today one devotee was mentioning, just to survive, if you are one man working in a family, just to live in this America is a struggle for existence actually. With all the loans that one has and this one salary and cut to cut month to month, and whole energy goes to survive actually. To live in this world is so difficult. People may say, so successful people, so well qualified, working in America, life is settled, have their own homes and have 2 cars, and then you go inside and you see struggling for existence. Everybody is struggling for existence. This is actually, it's a reality. Just to maintain oneself, it's a struggle. 3 months people don't have job and everything breaks actually. People, the existence comes questionable. Oh, how do I exist now? This is America life actually. So simple ways to worship Krishna by hearing and chanting about his incredible pastimes from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavata. Thus mind will be cleansed of all contamination. The Upanishad indirectly draw our attention to the primeval Lord Krishna, but the Bhagavad Gita, summary of all Upanishad, directly points to Krishna. Here Bhagavad Gita says, hear from authority and worship Krishna based on the authority. Worship the Supreme, the supremely independent, who is the cause of all causes, based on the authority, but directly does not take the name of Krishna. So Prabhupada says, but that's why they are not Isopanishad is one of the king of all the Upanishad, still not direct. That's when Vyasadeva was not satisfied. I mean, it's like, you do a preaching, you go to a program, many people come, and then they say, how do we worship? We want to become self-led. What do I do? And then you say, you worship the absolute truth. And then they say, who is the absolute truth? And you say, from him everything emanates. And who is that? He is the cause of all causes. Who is the cause of all causes? He is supreme. He is one. There's nothing like him. He's beyond everything. This thing doesn't work. It's like, वो बंदा पूछ रहा है, the person is asking, what do I do? All you have to tell him is chant Hare Krishna. You don't tell him the right path, what to do, who is God, what is Vaikuntha, where to go. You don't tell anything. You just say, like there was a book club, I know, a few years back, and there's one bogus guru. This one Mataji wanted to lead a book club. She wanted me to come. It's a Western group. So I went there thinking I will add something Krishna conscious in that book club. So I went there. And then she is reading from one bogus guru, and he's like going all around the bush and not telling anyone thing what to do. And then another person said, there's so much nonsense in that. And this another person was a devotee. He said, when I read Srila Prabhupada books, everything is so crystal clear what to do, what not to do. But this guru is beating around the bush and nobody understands what to do. Prabhupada Maharaj was yesterday, he was mentioning he got 3 Bhagavad Gitas. Then he was so interested, he got 5 more. He got total 8 Bhagavad Gitas. He read all the 8 Bhagavad Gitas. And then his realization after reading all the 8 Bhagavad Gitas is he did not understand anything. And then Maharaj said, then I came across a Bhagavad Gita as it is. And when I read Bhagavad Gita as it is, everything makes sense. I understood what Krishna is speaking. And that's what Isopanishad here is saying here is a bona fide Guru Parampara. And that's what here clearly the sages ask, sir, what is the essence of all the scriptures? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He is the Bhagavan. Ahituki Apratihata. Devotional service costless. Ye Atma Suprasidati. Become fully satisfied. So that is a summary of all the Upanishad. Directly points to Krishna. So this is the perfection of Sambhava. Hearing from Krishna, hearing about Krishna draws his attention. Then Krishna give direction, what to do, what not to do in Bhagavad Gita. Like Bhagavad Gita is a book of direction and cleanses the heart of passion, ignorance. Then you attain goodness and become qualified by Bhakti Yoga as a Brahmana. Then as you become more and more in goodness and more cleansed of contamination, then you become happy and enthusiastic to perform Bhakti. The more we become happy and enthusiastic to perform Bhakti, the science of God is revealed to us. As science of God is further revealed to us, we become further free from material attachments. Second level of contaminations are removed. Then the more we become free from material attachments, the doubt of mind are cleared. And that is all by the grace of the Lord. And then one becomes a liberated soul and sees Krishna in every step of life. Basically, chant Hare Krishna, associate with devotees, be sincere, be around sincere people, serve Krishna selflessly, and slowly, you realize yourself and go back to God. Mode of passion, ignorance will go down, mode of goodness will increase, sins will be removed, faith will grow, you become more nishtita bhakti. Bhakti bhavati naishtiki, more steady to perform bhakti. You realize Krishna more and more. All the material desires go away. All the doubts go away. Krishna is established as an irrevocable fact. Krishna reveals to you. You get the complete mercy of the Lord. You realize yourself and you go back to Golok Vrindavan. And you see Krishna in and out everywhere. This is the perfection. Passion doesn't allow one to be detached from material hankering. And ignorance doesn't allow one to know what one is for, what one is, or what the Lord is. Ignorance keeps us away from who I am and who Krishna is, who God is. And passion is always hankering, material hankering, passion. I can be happy if this happens. Or my motivation behind something is to get something which is not Krishna. This mode of passion. And ignorance is complete ignorance only. One who is in passion or ignorance cannot attain self-realization despite acting as a religionist. Even if we are a religionist, but passion ignorance, then self-realization has become difficult. But Krishna Bhakti will remove passion ignorance, bring to goodness, remove the sin, clear the heart, become steady in Bhakti, get the grace of the Lord, free from material desire. Krishna reveals to us more and more, becomes a irrevocable fact, established, we see him in and out, and we go back to him. Bhakti will take care of everything. So that's all. We discussed 2 verses today. So are there any discussions? Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Prabhuji, I see we celebrate Shivratri in the temple. So are we actually worshipping Shiva at that time?
Well, uh, Lord Shiva is described in Bhagavatam as Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. It is said, as long as we don't worship Shiva as the independent Lord, if we worship him as a devotee of the Lord, then it is all right, Mataji. Another reason, we also see that Lord Krishna has given Lord Shiva the role of being a Kshetrapal, that one cannot enter the Dham without the mercy of Lord Shiva. That's why when we go to Vrindavan, there is Gopeshwar Mahadev, and there is Kundeshwar Mahadev, and there is Dhameshwar Mahadev, and there are so many temples of Mahadev where we go and pay our respects. And the purpose is not worshipping him as the independent Lord, but as the devotee of Lord Krishna. And the purpose of celebrating Shivratri for devotees is a lot is preaching, to invite new people and with a genuine desire to get the mercy of the Lord. And he is the in charge of false ego also, so we can pray to him to reduce the false ego so that I can realize my true relationship with Krishna. Is that all right, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Anything else anyone has?
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhuji.
Obeisances, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, just a quick question on association. If we are associating and conversation does happen, perhaps regarding politics, business, should we redirect that to Krishna consciousness to the Lord? And if that happens on a regular basis, how should we have association perhaps with those individuals if it's on a regular basis? Should we minimize that association, or thank you.
It depends who takes the in charge of the conversation. If they are the in charge of conversation most of the time, then may not be very helpful for us. But if we take the charge of conversation and direct it in a way, or sometime the discussion comes and we smile and we show as if we are interested, oh, this happens to Biden and this happened to Trump. Wow, very nice, amazing, good to know. And then go back to our Bhagavatam and our Bhagavad Gita, or keeping Krishna in the center, or somehow connected that to Krishna. If it is like, if they are well established devotees, um, um, then it's not expected from them. If they are new people and they don't know much, then cutting them off may not be very helpful. Rather, we can take the charge of conversation, be a guide, and help them to grow in their Krishna consciousness, because those who are new, they naturally have the previous habits and they're very much interested in those things, and we may listen to them just to encourage them, and then we can bring up some topics about hearing, chanting, or Krishna, or direct in a way that it does not seem abrupt, but we help them grow. And also it is said that with such people, 20% association is more than sufficient. It is said 60% association with equals who are at the same level of our Krishna consciousness, so that talks will be more Krishna conscious. But new people, when we associate with them, we don't associate them for a long time. Short association, and encourage them and give Krishna, and then thank you very much. And in that association, it will be nice to take a superior role as a matter to serve them. So we don't give them full access to speak whatever they want to us, like in a very friendly way, but we keep some charge, because we want to. We are in a missionary mode there. We are like, okay, how do I serve in this situation? And we are not really looking for an association or a friendship, but we are looking for a relationship of love and care, but centered around serving Guru and Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, if they're well established, but continue to do that, then 20% association. If those guys,
Most of our time should not go with them.
okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the nectar. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much for joining. If I spoke anything wrong, please forgive me as your humble servant. Panchakalpatarubhesha कृपा सिंधुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. धन्यवाद. प्रणाम. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you,
Jai Shri
Prabhuji. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Thank
प्रभु
you,
जी
Mata. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी.
Thank you, Mata. Hare Krishna.